Before we begin, we want to let our listeners know that today's conversation touches on cancer, treatment, and the challenges of parenting while living with a serious illness. We understand this may feel heavy or triggering for some, so please take care of yourself as you listen. If at any point you need to pause or step away, we encourage you to do so. This space is about honesty, support, and shared stories, but your well being always comes first. Okay, welcome to Cribside and Beyond POV. Today's conversation is one that's tender, real, and deeply important. We're sitting with a mom who's walking through the journey of cancer while continuing her most important role, being a mother. This episode is about courage, love, and resilience. We'll explore how she navigates treatments, motherhood, and family life in the midst of uncertainty. We're so honored to hold this space with her today. So before we step into the present, could you share a little bit more about you, about your motherhood journey? What does everyday life look like?
Hi, so thank you so much for having me on your very first podcast episode. So my name is Marian, and am I allowed to say that I actually know the two of you
Yes,
from
of course. Yes, we've known
yes,
each
from
other since high
school. So
school,
yeah, no, not just high school. We go beyond
elementary.
high school. Yes,
Yeah.
elementary. Yeah, so you know a bit about me and just growing up. You know the kind of person that I was, or perhaps there are just some things that you know about me that I didn't even realize that people know about me. But for when I became a mother, that actually helped me with just being able to know who the person I truly am at the moment. So it's all just like putting into perspective that who I am plus being a mother is such a profound character that I never thought I could have evolved into who I am right now.
Mhm.
And so everyday life with my kids looked like I always wanted it to be fun and energetic because I remember I was energetic and I was always wanting to join whatever activities were available at that time. So I wanted to recreate that for the kids as well. So if they are interested in something, so my eldest, so I've got two boys, and one of the eldest is 6 years old, and the younger one is 2 years old, who thinks like he's 4 years old, just because probably
Oh,
because he's got a big he's, he's got a big brother, his kuya. And the two of them, they're so energetic. They both love swimming, so that's where we came from today. Swimming and just running around, it just being outside. They love being outside. And
mhm.
so whatever they like, I support them and I we are with them. So my husband and I, so my husband's name is Arvin. So we're very much hands-on because basically our life here in London, so we're based in London,
Mhm.
is our bubble is just myself, my husband, the kids, and the childminder. When you say childminder here, it's like childcare. So basically it's like a nanny or a babysitter. So she's been with us for years and she's very much experienced because she's been doing it for 25 years.
Mhm.
So that's it. That's her bubble.
Right.
Even though we may have relatives near London, we chose to still live here because we just prefer to be in the city and we're just I'm a city mouse and I will always be a city mouse. I cannot be a country mouse. You
Yeah.
cannot take that away from me. So are my boys. So yeah, so we like that spontaneity. That okay, let's take the bus, let's go here. Yes, we may have a car, but if the boys love vehicles, they love public transport, they love the train, the underground train, they would rather do that than we go to the car and they're like, oh,
You sit in a car seat. Yeah, big difference.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, no, yeah. And they both speak Filipino, so with a British accent.
Oh, that's great.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, no, no car, no Mercedes, no coche. Gusto ko sakay tayo sa bus.
Oh, that's cute.
That's what they would say. So let's go ride the bus. Yeah, so that's basically it. It's just being active, being out there. My husband and I have always been physically active, so I guess that really radiates to them as well, and then they take that in. Um, yeah, so unexpected moments when it all happened.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah, tell
it's
us
just
about that. Tell us about how, you're living life, everything is,
Yeah.
regular day, and then that shift happens.
Yeah. So it's something that I never thought I'd ever have because I was always the one who would push myself to be fit, healthy, strong.
Right.
Growing up, I've always been that kid, that person. So being diagnosed with breast cancer has never really it never really fit my reality. And so
Hmm.
that's why when people found out, I don't know how you guys reacted when you found out. A lot of them were surprised, and I got a lot of comments saying that you are the healthiest or the most fit person I know, and yet you still got diagnosed with that.
Hmm.
Um, how is that even possible? So I know they're trying to make it come across as a compliment, but also the more that I've heard about those lines, the more I felt as if, then where did I go wrong? So there's a lot of reflection in this whole cancer adventure, as I would call it. I just call it that. I just rebranded the whole thing and said cancer adventure.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and you were talking
because
about how did people react, but how did you feel? I mean, maybe take us
yeah,
back to when you first noticed a lump on your breast and like the emotions that you went through with that. Maybe let's start with that.
yeah, sure. Okay. So I stopped breastfeeding in April 2024.
Hmm.
And I just, found a lump on my right breast. And I didn't really think much of it because I just stopped breastfeeding. Our bodies change
Yeah.
after all that. And so, okay, I said, okay, this is something different. I didn't call my doctor straight away because of that. Then I said, okay, I'll wait another month. And it was still there. And when it was still there, that's when I called to have an appointment with my GP or the doctor. And immediately I was seen in the clinic and I was referred to go to the Breast One Stop Clinic. So, Breast One Stop Clinic here, it sounds like a shop, right? Breast One
Mhm.
Stop Clinic. You get a mammogram, an ultrasound, and a biopsy all in one. So, it's like you've won a jackpot. You get all three kinds of diagnostics.
Mhm.
And I was even with my 1 year old then, with me, and I was the only woman in that waiting room where everyone else looked miserable. And I was
Uh-huh.
the
Uh-huh.
only one with a child. I was the only one with a baby. Imagine coming to have my breasts checked. So for me, even though I did feel like there was a hunch that okay, this is probably not really very good because you can see it on the ultrasound, as
Uh-huh.
healthcare professionals. But then you just push that back because like, oh, no, like me, I would never get this,
Mhm.
because I was holding on to that. I've been taking care of myself for so long. I'm the type of person who would almost always get a normal blood result and everything else. So it's not something I would ever think of.
Right.
We are not, yeah, so we would mostly eat plant-based and seafood. So we are pescatarians basically.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so
I
all
do
of
have a
all of
question.
those factors. And so when finding out, it was about a month after, which made me very livid because they went over the number of days. So they said to me, 10 to 12 working days, you'll hear from us.
Uh-huh.
Nothing. So
Hmm.
I thought, like, oh, okay, I'm not a priority. Maybe it's nothing because if it were urgent, they would have
Hmm.
told me straight away, but they didn't.
Hmm.
Um, so on the 4th of September, so about a month-ish after my diagnostics, I got a phone call. I knew I was gonna have a telephone conversation, but I didn't know it was that. So I had a very busy day. I work in surgery,
Hmm.
meaning I'm a nurse manager in surgery. So I run theaters. And I
Okay.
was so we had patients on the table. So Nadia, you get what I'm talking about, where you have different theaters running, and then I'm in charge of all those. And then I get a phone call,
Mhm.
and it's not something that I expected, but for some reason I felt like I was talking about myself as a patient. And I went on healthcare professional mode,
Uh,
very
Yeah.
objective, as if I'm speaking to the surgeon on the phone
Hmm.
about another patient, not
as if you were
myself.
an advocate for another person. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah. And
you
I
were
said, like, okay, right. So what is the treatment plan? So what's the probability? That's how I was talking. As
Yeah.
in there was no, I don't know,
Did you
sometimes
feel
being
like
in
you
health.
were disassociating a little bit? You were just
Yeah.
like, who are we talking about? Are we talking about me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Perhaps because I was at work and at the same time I that was the only way I could keep myself together.
Yeah.
And not, yeah, try to uh fil filter, or I don't know, just change the way I looked at how I perceived and received the information. And then I'll
Yeah.
just, deal with it when I get home.
Yes.
So that's how I was talking to the surgeon. And I think even the surgeon was feeling a bit like, "Oh, you're too calm."
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my
It's
God.
like, are you sure you have no more questions? Is there anything else that we can do? La, 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 la. So then I put the phone down. I took a deep breath. I was about to choose not to tell most people, except my manager. So obviously, at least so she would know if I needed to take some time off.
Mm-hmm.
But then I said to myself, that's my default. My personality has always been, I knew I'm strong. I've got a strong personality. I get on with it. I've never really been that child who would tell my parents, "Oh, Melissa took my balloon." I was never that child. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just went on. I said no, but something's got to change. This is the time that we need support. And for me, that's a big deal, is to accept and receive help and support.
Yeah. You were talking about how you were, as a child, you had a strong personality. If someone took something from you, you would stand up for yourself. Is it
Mhm.
different being a mother though? Because you have no control over how your kids will respond to this and how they accept the information and their emotions. Whereas you have control over how you feel and how you manage. But now, as a mother, do you feel that you were vulnerable in that space, that you can't really take away the pain or fear that your kids might have with this kind of diagnosis?
Well, first off, they're 6 and 2. They don't really know as deep of a level. So they would only receive the information that we're willing to share
Yes.
with them,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So with that, I knew that didn't want to show them weakness. And weakness, by that I meant uh, popping the routine. So as much as possible, I did my best not to disrupt the routine.
Mm-hmm.
If I was meant to take them to school that day, I would take them to school that day, even though I just had my chemo the day before.
Mm-hmm.
And I still remember the moms who knew, because we only told a few people. So I remember the moms seeing me from afar with two children holding
Mhm.
them, and they were mouthing like, "What the hell are you doing here?
Yeah.
Why are you here? How are you here?"
Yeah.
And I'm just like, "Well, who's gonna take them to school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's going to do this? I still need to do this." And so I just got on with it. I still threw a birthday party, right? The day after my one of my chemo sessions. Still took them to whatever they needed to be at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like I never really stopped being a mother. And if I could make the routine as close to as before, or not, for them to not even notice any change,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't feel the stress, the pressure,
Yeah.
um, and so to protect them also from the anxiety, like what's going on, because that's how kids are. They
Yes.
would
Yeah.
notice if there's a change in balance
Mm-hmm.
in their world, right? So yeah, so
Mhm.
I still tried to play with them, even though I really felt rubbish inside.
So how do you go about that? Like, maybe you can explain to those who are not in healthcare how you feel after chemotherapy and where do you get the energy, the strength to s- be there for your children? Because it takes a lot of energy.
Yeah,
You.
yeah.
So maybe
Honestly,
mhm.
honestly, it's from my children.
Mm.
So this is actually one of my major realizations from all the treatments that I've received. And I've said this so many times, they are the best medicine and the best therapy I've ever received.
Oh.
Oh, that's so nice.
They've given me a whole new perspective, and just seeing them, that they have no cares in the world, and they have no, yeah, they're not bothered. I played with them, so it didn't really matter to them that I've got drains hanging out of the side of my boob.
Mm.
Right.
Did they ask
They
about
didn't
it?
care about I had dressings. Yeah, they did, but I had to put it in a nice tote
Mm.
bag. I have like this cute black tote bag.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I had two drains in right after my surgery. So I had surgery first, then after that chemotherapy, then after that radiotherapy.
So
Mm-hmm.
how
Um,
long were the treatments for?
yeah. So, so with my treatment plan, they wanted to do surgery first so they could take away basically the lumps.
The lump?
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the lumps from my breast on
Uh-huh.
my right side, so it's just one side.
Okay.
They so let me get I just want to make it clear that it was caught in an early stage, according to my doctors.
Good.
And however, there's not just one lump. There were three. So at
Mm-hmm.
first they said two, then it became three when they actually did the surgery. And then my lymph nodes on my underarm, so we call it axillary lymph node clearance, meaning they took a lot of lymph nodes. So they took a lot, like 15
Mm-hmm.
lymph nodes out.
Right.
Yeah, because there were some that they already found that are cancerous. The others looked like they're pre-cancerous, that they might turn into the sinister cells. So they
Mm-hmm.
just took it all away. So I had that first surgery, but the good news from that is technically I was cancer free from then because my lumps or my tumors were in a good margin and they saw from my bone scan there's no spread or anything. So yeah.
So
So
did they diagnose that after you had the surgery and they still said, okay, you need to do chemo?
mm, yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, so they have a pre-diagnosis before this surgery and then another diagnosis after the surgery to confirm what they actually found and for when they sent it to the lab.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but because so this is why I always heard throughout my treatment journey is I was young, fit, and healthy. I was diagnosed in my 30s. I have no family history,
Right.
no negative genetic testing, meaning I don't have the genes that could have predisposed me to getting this type of cancer and other cancers as well. So you can imagine. So all of those things, negative, negative, negative. So they were all in my favor.
Mm-hmm.
And for a time, I couldn't understand why you always keep on saying that I'm young, fit, and healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And why do I still have to go through chemo and radiotherapy? That was my thought.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that
Yeah.
because I was so good, I was being so kind to myself and looking after myself, then
Mm-hmm.
I would have just only did. I honestly thought, oh, I'll only do maybe three chemo. But no, that wasn't the case because I was young, fit, and healthy, and no family history, and no negative gene testing. Um, they wanted to give me the aggressive treatment that they could give me.
Oh,
The
okay.
explanation of the doctor is because since we don't really know, we can't really find out anymore where it came from. And you
Mm-hmm.
are young, you have small children, we're gonna whack everything in. And because your body is strong, we know that because we've taken tests and your blood's everything that you are strong,
Yeah.
then let's
Mm-hmm.
whack everything in because your body can take it.
Mhm.
Not like if, let's say, if you compare it to somebody who's elderly and have multiple things going on in their health, they probably wouldn't give like the strongest or recommend the strongest regimen there is. Do you get what I'm saying? So um, that's how they explained it to me. It's
Yeah.
because I want you, my surgeon said, my oncologist said this to me. I want you to be there for your boys. And I want to give you everything available right now because I never want to see you again in my clinic and be able to say to you at some point, I'm sorry, we can't do anything for you.
Mhm.
It's good because we can do a lot of things for you right now.
Yeah.
And when she said that, it was a fresh perspective. I never saw it that way.
Yeah. But yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
these are a lot. So first you had the surgery, you said, and you had your chemotherapy, and then radiation, you just finished.
Radiotherapy. I
Mm-hmm.
finished radiotherapy in May. So it was like that. So Surgery in October 2024. Rest, 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 rest. Chemo starting from December
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
um, until March. So that was eight in total every 2 weeks. And that felt like the longest,
Mhm.
at the same time,
Yeah.
fastest, because I was always in hospital. And
Mm-hmm.
then after that, they gave me a bit of a rest, like
Mhm.
weeks from radiotherapy, just to like, oh, settle everything. Then radiotherapy for 15 sessions, which meant every single day for 15 days, I was coming into hospital doing the same position, not moving because they wanted to deliver the radiation
To the
on
right
specific
spot.
parts of my body to the right spots.
Mhm.
So that in itself is exhausting in terms of physically going into hospital every time.
Mhm.
And I'm just so immune, like, okay, you need to take my blood test. Like I'll even show them like, oh, this is a juicy vein for you.
Oh
Like
yeah.
this.
But you were
I was
talking
going
about,
like that already.
yeah, you're talking about you know, how you wanted to have, or you worked really hard to provide balance for your children and to make sure that, you know, life goes as how it was before. But how did, and you were talking about self-care. Can you share some of the self-care you did like during this whole journey so far?
Yeah. Yeah. I so self-care for me before my major treatment. So let's say, oh, I have my surgery date at this time. Then I and Arvin would do some things together, or maybe just for myself. Um, we would have a spa day together, or we would go to the gym together, or work out, or have long walks, go to the cinema, sort out childcare for the kids. So at least two of us will have just something somewhere.
Okay.
Um, yes. And so that was before something major and also after. It's like to celebrate every milestone.
Yes.
So that he, after my chemotherapy, he threw a surprise chemotherapy graduation party for me with
Oh,
That's
all
nice.
the people. Chemotherapy graduation party. So I finished all my chemo
yes.
and he invited the people, all the good friends and some relatives who helped us out during those tough times. So
Mhm.
it was like saying thank you to them, but at the same time, I didn't know when it was going to happen. I knew there was something in the background, but I didn't know
Right.
when and how it's going to be like. So I just thought we were going to the restaurant to eat, and then in a room, well, he reserved it in a golf country club, so there was an area there, so a secluded area just for us, and then he reserved the space. So
Mhm.
it was nice. So just seeing all the people who supported us and everyone was crying,
Oh,
saying how much in awe they were of me being there.
Marian, can you tell us who are your greatest supporters during this journey and even before, like in who were part of your life and you knew that they were still there even during the journey, the cancer journey?
Yeah, so those would be my colleagues, and they have been instrumental and helpful. Meaning colleagues who have turned into really good friends. One of them even accompanied me to my surgery in the morning
oh,
and stayed with me from 7 o'clock in the morning until I got out of surgery at 11 p.m.
at night.
11 p.m. Yeah, at night. Yeah. So waited for me to, come out of theater. Um, and not just my colleagues, they were visiting me at home. They were sending me lovely messages just to cheer me on. And I've got my neighbors as well. So the neighbors, they were giving us food. They
That's
were
nice.
cooking for us. Yeah. So
Oh,
things like that. It when you say help and support, it doesn't always have to be like money, isn't it? Or
Oh, of
something else.
course.
Big
Sometimes
hampers of
conversation, right?
gifts.
Even.
yeah.
Yeah. But it's amazing how some of those people, though we don't have family, they felt more like a family to us because they just knew what we would need at that time, the right
Yeah.
thing that we would need at that time. And that is what they would send food, like I said, or they would get the boys and just play with them, so I can have some alone time and be able to have a nap and rest,
Right.
or also for Arvin to just rest. So those things,
And
it's
for those who
amazing.
don't know, Arvin is your husband.
Or then your
And
husband.
Arvin is my husband. Yes,
Yes.
yes, definitely.
Nice.
Yeah, so and also I got presents from some friends from Poveda.
Oh,
I didn't
that's
expect that.
great.
Yeah.
So, okay,
Um,
audience, Pavetta, we all went through the same school together, and it is Pavetta in Manila, Philippines. So,
Quezon
yeah.
City, Manila.
Quezon City, Manila. Quezon City, Manila,
EDSA corner,
Philippines.
P. Poveda Street. Quezon
Right by
City.
EDSA.
By EDSA.
EDSA corner, P. Poveda Street, Quezon City. Um, yeah, so presents from them that I didn't expect. So it's like they chipped in, and yeah, that was something. My friends here from the UK also did something like that. Um, like a self-care box or a care box with nice fluffy socks or a nice like cream to help me sleep at night.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so but this is one of the things that I've noticed and I've realized that the people you might expect that would be there for you in these trialing times, they probably, yeah, might not be there as you'd expect. And the ones that you didn't think you mattered that much to them
Right.
gave the most support that you didn't expect. So it's just one of those realizations that, yeah, realizations and surprises at the same time.
Would
But
you say
that's
you're,
fine.
yeah, would you say you're pleasantly surprised with like how people have helped you, have supported you
Mm,
with your journey and everything?
yeah, so I was surprised because Arvin and I don't really expect for people to drop things. Everyone has a busy life. So actually, I didn't mention to you how we told people. So this is
Yeah, yeah,
another
let's
thing.
know that. Yeah.
Yes. So how we told people was, so September was when I got diagnosed. After that, Arvin and I spoke about who are we going to tell this to, okay, and how. I didn't want to talk to my parents who are in the Philippines or even my some of my other siblings, except my sister, who
Mm-hmm.
I can say whatever to her and see their reactions because I did not want someone crying in front of me, feeling sorry for me, feeling sad for me,
Right.
because when we knew in September, we waited for the right time to tell people about what we're going through. And that was around October when we already had the treatment plan, like when my surgery is going to be, what am I going to have after surgery?
Mm-hmm.
Because if we told them right then and there, all the influx of questions and queries and clarifications and explanations that they would seek out from us, we don't have the answers to.
Mhm.
Of
So
course.
we waited until we knew what the treatment plan was,
Mm-hmm.
until all the results really have come out and we've seen that, oh, okay, this is what I've got in me,
Mm-hmm.
before we told them. Then I wrote a letter. So
Yeah.
I wrote a letter that I just sent out to my parents, to my family, and everyone else that we wanted to involve in our journey. And I still remember, I kept a copy of the letter, but basically, and not in exact words, but the main concept there was, um, we are not expecting a lot from you because we know that we all get busy.
Mm-hmm.
We are sharing this piece of news to you because you matter to us. And we just want you to send us your positive healing energy
Right.
and see me get through this.
Yes.
That's all we wanted from them. Because I just don't want the sadness because at that point we were already at peace with it. We were at peace with
Yeah.
it, Arvin and I. We perhaps because we're in healthcare,
Mhm.
Yeah.
it doesn't really surprise us. We easily understood what the risks, the benefits, everything else that came with it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the acceptance, the journey going through to the acceptance stage was a fast-paced one because we didn't have that many questions if probably somebody who didn't know anything how even cancer starts
So
or
Arvin is
Right.
also in
did.
healthcare.
Yeah,
Arvin.
he's also a nurse manager.
So you both
He was
understand, yeah, the complexity.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, yeah, very much. And so with that, we feel like we're always like, okay, yeah, okay, cancer. So this is what's gonna happen. Then we're gonna do this. Then we're gonna. So it's like it was fast paced and in a way that gave us a peace of mind and a plan and have faith that that plan would work.
And with that, we have to pause this incredibly moving conversation with Marian. We are so grateful for our guest and her generosity in sharing this first part of her journey with us and our listeners. What you've heard today is just the foundation of a truly remarkable story of resilience. In our next episode, we'll dive deeper into her emotional toll, the day to day realities of juggling chemo and her other therapies, childcare, and the profound lessons she learned about leaning on to her support system. It's an episode you absolutely don't want to miss. So be sure to subscribe to Cribside and Beyond POV wherever you listen to your podcast. So part 2 is ready for you as soon as it drops. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next time.